So what are we talking about today?
You're the one making the video.
I know.
You should do the introductions.
I always
I
ask
don't
you
know
what we're doing. Okay.
You didn't even properly explain what the Nanako thing was.
Oh, right. The Nanako thing is a discussion about if we feel like Nanako should have died or stayed dead or whatever in Persona 4.
I want to hear your thing first, so that way I can disagree with you and it can be a discussion.
Okay. So, this is a weird topic to jump into because it's about a child dying. So for those of you who don't know, spoilers, in Persona 4, towards the end, Nanako dies due to plot things and then magically comes back to life. And it's not just that she is sick or whatever. No, she dies and then she comes back to life. And this is
flatlines.
Yeah, she's fucking dead. And this is something in the Persona community I see people not really arguing about, but it's one of those things in Persona 4 that's always brought up when, talking about it. Usually between it and Persona 3 that makes whichever one better or worse. Where it's like, did they really fucking do that? They killed this child and then just brought her back. And it's one of the power of friendship moments that piss people off about Persona 4. Yeah.
So, do you think she should have died?
My thinking on this is that there's two scenarios they could have gone with. The first one, which is more logical, is have her not fucking die to begin with, and have her just be sick. And then maybe it's like, she's in a critical condition. It seems like she's going to possibly die. And Dojima freaks out, and then she gets better. That would be fine. And the alternative is she just dies. I would also be fine with this. But it's her dying and then coming back that bothers me. What about you?
Both your options seem pretty viable, but I feel like her dying and coming back to life sort of makes sense within the context.
How
the
so?
town is covered in fog. That makes Izanami was going to cover the world in fog, make people delude themselves, become shadows and stuff.
Yeah.
Since she is deluding people and she's trying to test you and his ability to reach out to the truth, it's possible that she just made Nanako fake her own death in everyone's minds.
I don't know. That seems a little bit too...
But
a little bit too much to me.
Does that not seem like a test moment? Like, do you really...
Kinda?
It's one of the few moments where they actually have you make a decision that matters.
Yeah.
And for that decision to be manipulated when at the end there's a reveal that someone was manipulating things the whole time.
I guess, but at the same time, it's like, why would they even bother testing you? Like, why would they care?
Because Izanami's weird like that, and that's the plot of the game.
I guess. I don't know. I don't see Izanami as the type to be like, alright, I'm gonna test your morality. I don't think she really cares. She cares more about if you're strong enough to fuck her up than if you're morally right or whatever.
No, did you want to seek the truth? That's her thing.
Yeah, I did, but I also didn't want to think a child died. And I didn't want to throw a fucker into a TV.
But throwing...
It cut off.
Alright, we can go back to recording.
Okay, where were we? You started making a horrible buzzing sound.
Alright, so Izanami probably... I feel like she could potentially test you there at that point.
That's the sort
That's why everyone seems to be acting out of character.
I don't know. I feel like it's possible, but it's not something that really makes too much sense in the grand scheme of things. Like, if Izanami said something like, when that girl died, mwahaha, it was all a test, just a ruse, you see, then that would have been, that would have explained it, but I don't know.
Maybe she could have said, like, sometimes I would just make people say weird things.
Sometimes I just fuck with people.
Would Nanako still be there at the end when you're fighting Izanami and
Oh, that would be fucked up. That would be so sad.
Ghost Nanako.
If her ghost is there.
But yeah, I feel like a couple of characters would have very different endings.
Yeah, especially Dojima.
Could you imagine talking to Dojima after the end?
Yeah.
He's just a broken man.
Not to get, like, super fucked up or anything, but I legit feel like Dojima would have killed himself if Nanako died.
Well, I don't feel he would kill himself, but he intentionally, but I feel like he would get really drunk.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like the only thing Dojima has to live for after that is his career and Narukami, who's been there for all of 4 days.
I feel like the investigation team would feel like they fucked up.
Yeah, they would have definitely felt like... They would have been like this fucking awful shadow. Not like a real shadow, but like a metaphorical shadow, you think, like looming over the whole rest of the game. It's like, well, the kid's dead. Might as well try to find this killer now, since they killed the kid.
Yeah, and oh god, a funeral event.
Oh please God, that would be horrible. The day thing shows up, and it's like, December 23rd, Nanako's funeral. That would have been horrible.
Matt, that's the worst moment.
That's fucked up.
Okay.
Oh god, imagine if fucking Adachi was there.
The girls text you, you gotta pick which girl to bring with you to the funeral.
Fuck. Naoto in all caps, I would like to go to the funeral. Will you accompany me? YN.
Yukiko's all like, please, I need to say my goodbyes. Rise has a sad emoticon. Like a colon and a parentheses.
She is like, want to stop at Burger King after? LOL. Just kidding, not really.
Oh god. That's the darkest thing
That's
I've said.
Fucked up.
God. But I doubt they would have such an event.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's really hard to have a death and then nothing after it. I mean, they had a Shinji funeral.
Yeah.
They didn't have a Chidori funeral.
No, she's not important.
Well,
Isn't Chidori, like, actually alive?
There's a way to make her live.
I'm pretty sure in, like, Arena Ultimax, Junpei says she's alive.
No, he says he's doing this for Chidori, but that doesn't mean she's
I don't know.
alive.
I think it's kind of like one of those maybe she is, maybe she isn't sorts of deals, where it's like, oh, she could be, and he has to speak really vaguely. It's like, I'm going to do this for Chidori.
Is she alive?
I don't know. I feel like she shouldn't be, because that kind of goes against the whole, like, death theme of Persona 3.
Yeah.
I just don't like when characters are brought back to life for no, like, real reason.
Yeah, like, in Persona 3, if you do the female main character route, you can save Shinji.
Yeah.
It doesn't even save him as a party member.
Yeah, it just, like, knocks him, like, completely knocks him the fuck out of everything.
And I feel like that weakens everything.
Yeah.
Because not only does Akihiko's motivation make less sense.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Shinji, you got knocked out. This is abnormal.
Yeah, I think that's just my problem with Nanako dying in general, is that it takes away from the significance of it all. It's basically just reduced to being like a quick scare sort of thing, where it's like, oh, she's dead. Not really.
Yeah. But it would be really hard to fit a funeral for a child
into
the game that was otherwise sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to talk about, is just sort of, like, if it would even be appropriate for Persona 4, because in Persona 3, it would even be kind of pushing it to have a kid die. But in Persona 4, the whole game is sunshine, happy rainbows, except for the whole serial killing thing, but...
Even that's handled like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. It's very light in tone. Mm-hmm. The only real... Well, there are death scenes in Persona 4, other than Nanako, and that's if you're bad at the game and let people die.
Yeah. But it would be such a fucking curveball if the whole game is sunshine happy. We're gonna find this killer. Nanako's dead. Namatame did it.
But he's not the other killer. But
yeah,
that would change other things. That's
another thing I wanted to talk about is the villains. That I think if Nanako died, Adachi would not be as popular as he is, in the slightest.
But it wasn't him. It wasn't him that killed.
Right, it was Namatame, but I feel like that would sort of heighten both of them as villains, because from then on, Namatame would be that guy who killed Nanako.
And Adachi would be that guy who killed 2 people.
Yeah, and also kinda, in a way, Nanako, indirectly.
Yeah. And I don't feel that Adachi's popularity is because he's a villain. Ew.
What do you think?
Shit.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't think he would be in Ultimax if he was the guy, at least not as, like, the anti-hero sort of dude he is now.
Yeah.
He would definitely just be, like, evil.
Unless they went for an Amatoning.
Yeah, I'm a Tony. I killed a kid, kinda, but, you know, I'm on the right track. Getting my life back together.
The trade's all the way over there, but I'm carrying it back. Shoulders. Prison was good for me.
Prison was good. I only got raped like twice a day. It's better than the average.
This is the darkest discussion.
It's fucked up.
We've had taking your girlfriend on a funeral
date to a funeral. That's when you know you're fucked up, when you're taking a girl to a date on at a funeral.
You fuck afterwards.
Oh god.
During.
No, please. Because he's like, Senpai, I'm horny. Can we skip this?
It's like, sure.
Yeah, okay. The two of you fucking start crying.
But yeah, I feel like a lot of the game just isn't ready to have a death happen.
I kind of want to go to this parallel universe where Nanako stayed dead in Persona 4 just to see what it would have been like.
They wouldn't have time for a lot of things though, because they'd either have to have Nanako die after you beat Adachi, which would cause even more cutscenes between finding Adachi and then talking to everyone for your true ending.
I don't know, I kind of feel like the whole thing still fits with her dying. Like, Namatame in the hospital, or Nanako in the hospital, she dies, y'all are like, should we throw him in the TV? And then, you know, he goes to jail or whatever. And then you realize that Adachi is the super secret bad guy who's actually not the super secret bad guy.
It would make it harder to see, like, who is the killer.
Yeah.
If this guy is a killer.
You know, that would add another sort of layer to it all that, like, so who's really responsible? Is it Namatame who actually did it, or is it Adachi who set him on that path? Or is it Izanami who set Adachi on that path?
It was Nanako.
It was Nanako. She is Nyarlathotep.
Yeah. That could be why she's alive.
That would actually be really interesting.
But I don't feel that would be his
No, that's too
style.
Cool.
You know what would be cool?
What?
Dojima was nearly
That would be pretty interesting.
Yeah. Like, it would be his style, too, because he does like to beat
looks,
people's stats.
Yeah.
And then, instead of having Sho in Ultimax, you could have Dojima twice.
Yeah.
You have Dojima.
How disappointed were you that the thing in Persona 4 Reno wasn't Nyarlathotep? Instead it was Fireman. Fireman.
I think the biggest disappointment was it was just Fireman.
It was just Fireman.
Like, fire is not even a final boss element.
Yeah, final bosses either have to have, like, every element or, like, dark and light and holy and almighty and all this shit.
Or no element.
Or no element.
Or, if you want to stretch it a bit, they're physical.
That would be cool.
Yeah. But that would make no sense, because how is he doing all this magic bullshit if he's just a strong guy?
He doesn't like the magic. He prefers to fight with his fists. He only uses the magic because it's cool.
But he doesn't like it.
Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares.
Alright. But yeah, so yeah, Nanako dying.
Okay.
It's really hard to make it fit with anything. Because think of it from a gameplay perspective on your calendar. Where do you place all of the Nanako dies events?
Okay, let me think about this. When did Nanako die and then fake us out? It was like, you got pranked. Like, what month did that happen?
Late November.
Late November. Okay, so when does the game end?
Gameplay-wise?
Yeah.
Christmas.
It ends on Christmas?
Yes.
Okay, so I think first, like, I don't think it'd take a week. Maybe it would. How long does it take for funerals to happen after the person dies?
It tends to take quite a while for it to happen, but when Shinji died, it was almost immediately.
Yeah.
And then there were several days of mourning.
I think it can fit. Oh, fuck. Like, when do they fight Adachi?
In December.
Well, yeah, but like...
And remember, you need to fight him before Christmas Eve if you want the Christmas Eve event with your girlfriend.
Your girlfriend, Kanji.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't know. I feel like it can kind of fit if we crunch it in between, like, the very start of December.
But that's when you're trying to figure out who's the killer.
Maybe you can be doing it at the same time. Like... You're trying to figure out who's responsible and trying to deal with Nanako's funeral at the same time.
But would that be the first thing on your mind after Nanako dies? Or would it be, holy shit, Nanako is dead?
I don't know. It's... I think it can work. It just has to be paced correctly.
You're talking to Persona 4.
This is very true. Shit. I mean, for this to work, the game would have to be... Well, I have a solution. Why don't we just make it happen sooner? Did he die? Yeah, he did.
Wait, sooner?
Yeah, like, why don't we make it so that she dies... like, earlier in the month.
But that wouldn't give you enough time to do her dungeon.
Oh, shit. There's always gotta be something. Now we're really getting fucking deep into this. What month does Persona 4 start in?
What'd you say?
What month does Persona 4 start?
April.
April?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have come in March, and that would have given him an extra month.
Yeah.
When do the Japanese children do their school thing?
Yeah, exactly. It's really hard. Like, because it seems like he's come on the first day of school.
Yeah.
So having him show up a month early, what would you do for that month?
Jerk off.
You have no social links, you have no reason to hear about the Midnight Channel.
Maybe he shows up like a week early, and that gives him a while to kind of adjust to the town or something. Maybe he meets a couple of people outside of school.
Yeah, so you need to... That's the thing, you need to restructure the whole game.
You're right. This whole thing would need like a total restructuring of the pace.
So yeah, if we... But there's another problem introduced by...
Hard buzz is back.
I'm sorry.
Okay, it's fine, whatever. Who cares? Nobody's watching at this point anyways.
Alright. If the death of Nanako does not fit in the game from gameplay standpoint, it doesn't fit in from a tonal standpoint, and I feel like Nanako's too popular to kill off.
Yeah.
It's really hard to kill off.
Here's a great solution. Instead, they shouldn't have faked us out with their fucking death to begin with.
Yeah.
We spent all this time trying to find this roundabout, stupid solution when they should have just not killed her in the first place because having her come back to life is stupid. There, we solved the problem.